So what's like an example prompt or way, like something that you would ask it to do?
I try to be conversational with it. So, in
Mhm.
my mind, it's Hal from Odyssey 2000, right? If you've seen that movie, but I call it warming it up. So
Uh-huh.
I'll tell it, like you're an expert course designer that comes up with incredible content that engages students for the optimal learning experience, right? And I'll warm it up like that, and it'll acknowledge that, right? And then I'll say I'm teaching this course, and then I'm using this textbook as the primary text for the course. Where it really helps me is like coming up with discussion questions. So
Mhm.
I'll feed it, I'll tell it, the students have watched these videos and they've read these articles. Here's the topic, because these courses are online asynchronous, right? And um, it'll help me come up with discussion questions that otherwise it would take me a lot longer to think them up, to type them out, you know delete, erase, I don't like this. And as long as my warm-up process is sufficient, man, it'll hammer the questions that I want. And very rarely do I have to go back then and tweak it. So that's an example of how I use it.
That's pretty cool. I can tell just from the way you like interact with ChatGPT that you're like much more affluent with it than I am. But that's pretty cool. Like I see what you're saying because I definitely uh I don't think I warm it up quite like you do, which is actually an awesome idea that I should kind of try to toy with. But I definitely have that like conversational component with it where like I'll ask it something and it gives me something that I'm not really looking for. And I'm like, oh no, what you gave me doesn't actually fit because the first letter doesn't start with S or whatever.
Right,
And then
right.
it'll like acknowledge that and then try to refine it more.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting how AI like can differentiate from like a search engine, right? Which is what we're used to, in
Right.
that you can find your search in that way.